Senator Hughes, in reading your bill yesterday, I have a couple of additional questions that were not really asked on the floor. My understanding is that your bill does not allow an adverse action to be taken by a number of governmental entities, including local governments, boards, the legislature, among others, because of a person's donation or affiliation with a religious organization. Am I correct in that understanding?
Senator, that's right. That's what the bill is about.
Okay, the discussion yesterday dealt with the San Antonio City Council's recent denial of Chick-fil-A at the airport because the company had made some company donations and had affiliations to religious organizations in their consideration. My understanding is that this bill would have prevented the council in San Antonio from taking these religious affiliations into consideration and making their decision to grant access to the airport. Is that correct?
Well, Senator, I won't say that it would have prevented the act, but it would give someone recourse if the government took an an adverse act based on affiliation or donation to a religious organization. So I want to make sure I'm answering carefully and precisely. The bill would not prevent that, but it would give one a recourse if an adverse action was taken against you based on your affiliation or donation to a religious group. So yes.
Okay.
It would apply in that situation. That's what I should have said, I guess.
I think that's what I'm trying to get to. And as I read your bills, I have some concerns about the ability of the state and the legislature to take a person's affiliations or maybe their donations to a controversial religiously affiliated organization into consideration during the vetting process of appointees to positions in state government.
Okay, I think I'm with you. Go ahead, thank you.
Okay. So your bill includes the legislature then. I am correct in assuming that.
I believe that's right. I'm looking now to make sure that the definition section isn't clear. Well, the government entity means the state. And so the state of Texas, the people obviously elect us to express their will, and we are part of the state. But it includes political subdivision from the state level and all throughout those that are created by the state. So cities, counties, etc.
And so that would extend also then to include the executive branch of state government that is created also by the state constitution or statute.
So that's right, and to make it clear, it talks about boards, commissions, councils, departments, other agency in the executive branch that's created by the Constitution or a statute, including higher ed. So yes, I believe that's the right language.
So it could then stand to reason that it would extend to our own governor in making appointments to different boards and groups.
So as I read the definition of adverse action, it's fairly specific, and I don't know if appointment to a board or commission is on there, but I believe it would be, while it's not specifically listed, I believe that would be included. In fact, if we read the whole statute in context, yes, I believe that's right. I believe that's right.
Well, and my concern is the unintended consequences of any bill that we consider on this floor. And so, Senator, on page 1 of your bill, you list the Senate and the governor as government entities that may not take adverse action as defined on page 1 to include hiring decisions. So I would ask if, would the governor or the Senate, using a person's donations and affiliation to controversial religious organizations, such as Westboro or Satanic Church, as a factor in the confirmation to a state position, be including in taking an adverse action in regard to hiring?
Well, Senator, as far as that Westboro so-called Baptist church goes, we did check a little further into that, and I want to make sure that we're clear. Under the definition that's now part of the bill in 110 of the Civil Practice and Remedies Code, if an organization engages in activities that would disqualify it from tax-exempt status, it does not qualify. So whether they're 501c3 or not, if they're engaging in activities that would disqualify them, they're out. So I want to make sure I'm answering the question accurately. A group like the Westboro Baptist Church would have no protection under this bill.
Okay.
I want to make that abundantly clear.
All right, so then next, the Senate, according to the Texas Constitution, has the obligation to give advice and consent on nominees. So could you walk me through how Senate Nominations Committee and the Senate as a whole could consider the donations, say to an anti-LGBT church, on the basis of these contributions or relationships?
Senator, the government in all the forms we've discussed under this bill would be held accountable if they discriminated against you or me or anyone else based on affiliation with or donation to a religious organization. I'm reminded of a confirmation hearing last year in the United States Senate when a very accomplished judge with impressive credentials was appearing before the Senate Judiciary Committee. And a member of the U.S. Senate criticized this judge, already an experienced judge with an Ivy League record, criticized this judge and suggested that this judge's Catholic faith would somehow disqualify that judge for appointment to the court. That's not what you're saying, but I want to be clear, Senator, yes, decisions like that, we do believe they would be covered by this bill.
Well, Senator, I think this is a potentially troublesome part of the bill that could tie the hands of our own governor and this Senate to vet individuals who could have some troublesome affiliations and donations that they've made in their history. And we need the very best people in the state of Texas to be involved in our state government. And I want to make sure here today that we don't have any unintended consequences and that we retain the ability to do our best to adequately and appropriately vet candidates to state positions.
Oh, thank you, Senator.
Thank you.